Hello, Pastor Chris Wickland here. The video that I uploaded earlier on today was a bit cut off and it was a little bit rushed and hurried, so I just thought I'd just give it a little bit more time to explain maybe what I was saying, because it probably raised a few questions. But basically on the 15th of August, I had this dream. And in this dream, it lasted all night long. And all night long, I just kept hearing the voice, I believe, of God saying, uprising, uprising, all night long. And so that went on all night. And then probably then around about 6 o'clock in the morning, I had this kind of open dream, open vision thing. And in this dream, I saw the opposition party, and he was kind of doing some really kind of weird tricks, which I think we partly saw yesterday when Labour tried to pass the fracking law, and of course Conservatives wanted to vote against it, and that caused all kinds of problems and stuff. And in the dream, I saw that Labour were doing these kind of weird tricks, and it caused a lot of problems for the Conservatives. And eventually, the Conservatives were in such a mess that then the opposition leader of the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, then tried to trigger a general election. Now, I don't know how you can trigger a general election, because probably, as you know, I'm not quite sure if there are any laws that allow that. But in the dream, he did something that tried to force it to be an issue. But what it did is it backfired on him and his party. But the consequence of that, where it backfired on him, is it basically then incapacitated all of government. So not only were the Conservatives incapacitated, now Labour incapacitated, and the whole House of Parliament could not do its job and could not function. Now, I don't know how or why. And in the next part of the dream, I saw the whole of the House of Parliament collapse in on itself. That's obviously not literally, but a metaphor for, the fact that the House of Parliament literally caved in on itself. It was incapacitated. And then, as a consequence of that, then there were literally public disruption on the streets. There was uproar. There was all manner of problems, and there was uprisings literally on the streets around London. There were just people protesting. There was loads of uprising, and it wasn't good, because without a government helping to run this country wasn't running, and things that needed to get done were not, and it was hurting the people. Hence why there was uprising. And so that was pretty much the dream. And from that dream, I felt that it was important that we pray into that as well to mitigate. This judgment or this chastisement that's coming to Britain is coming. There's nothing we can do to stop that. But even in the midst of that chastisement, that judgment, we can ask God to mitigate some of the pain. So this uprising, people can get hurt in this. It could cause all kinds of social problems. I do believe the church has a place to pray into this, so we can mitigate some of that. We're not going to be able to stop this from happening, I don't believe, but we are going to be able to mitigate some of the impact that it will have from these public uprisings. And also, from the prophecy that I received, I think it was on in the end of July, called the changing seasons or the shifting seasons. It's on this YouTube channel. That basically prophesied that would be coming the shaking of the government and the shaking of the things of the economy in this country. And as a consequence of that, the government in this land will be brought down. But then, out of the ashes of the debris of our economy and our government, would rise a new government. One that's not based on party politics, not Labour, not Conservative, not Liberal, but actually the people that come together to run the government. It's not about me and them, and it's not about their careers and leaving a legacy. Actually, these people came together to help rebuild this country because they put the country first. Now, this government won't necessarily be a Christian government, but it will retain an oldness to it, in the sense it will go back to older laws, which will be more Judeo-Christian, and it will reset a lot of the statute books in this country from a lot of the liberal stuff that we've had in this nation over the last 10 years. That will be gone, and it will set the country back to much older principles. And there will be godly men and women in that government, but they might not necessarily be a Christian government or Christians leading it, but there'll certainly be godly people in that government. And this government will be a real blessing to this nation, and it will be God's grace to this nation for the difficult time that we're coming into. And now from that will then, I believe, out of that ashes of that demise of our systems as they currently stand from this date, then will come something new and something beautiful. And also with the collapsing of the government and the economy, obviously the church too will unfortunately implode on itself. And many of the, I don't would like to say what kind of churches, but there'll be many churches that will fall in this day as well. But out of the ashes of all that, a better government will come. The country will come back to a place of relative financial security. Unfortunately, our economy will be knocked back to that of the 1960s, and the church will rise up again, this time more beautiful, more glorious and stronger, more orthodox as well, in the sense of orthodox as in she follows biblical principles rather than rather than ideologies, political ideologies or agendas that are, that are very much the vogue things of the day. It won't be like that. It will be a church that's really true to God, true to the Spirit and true to the Word, and moving in orthodoxy. And then it will be a church born out of revival, and then that's when we'll see this beautiful, wonderful revival. And so that I just wanted to share those extra words because some people might be concerned and might have more questions about what I said earlier. So I just put this out to you. So that vision I had about the public uprising was on the 15th of August. And I believe, what we're seeing now in the Conservatives, and actually what Keir Starmer did yesterday in respect to the fracking bill, just showed some of the tricks that he was playing to try to cause the uproar in the Conservative Party. And it did cause problems and did cause confusion. And even today, that's probably one of the straw that broke the camel's back in respect to Liz Truss handing in her resignation. And so now Keir Starmer is already saying, we need a general election. And this is kind of his plan. Whether he's doing this maliciously or not is by the by. The fact is the results will be the same. So watch it. So when he tries to trigger a general election, and I don't know how they will do that, but when that happens, that's really when the beginning of the demise of the government in this land will begin. And but remember, this all might sound rather scary and doom and gloom, but actually God is forewarning us. God is preparing us for what is yet to come. See, if you want the good things to come, then I'm afraid these empires and things as they stand, which are not good, they need to come down. And out of the ashes, the phoenix will arise and something good will come. And sorry for using the phoenix analogy there, but it's just the thing that immediately comes to mind. Something that comes out of the ashes, which lives. And so, I hope that answers a few more questions than my last post probably raised. Anyway, so God bless, be encouraged, stay vigilant, keep the faith, and keep praying. God bless. Bye-bye.